West Feliciana Parish was the ideal place for the Tunica. The Tunica were a trading tribe, and after being sent downriver after losing their land to the Chickasaw, they needed new land. The Houma land was very close to the mouth of the Red River, and this appealed to them. This forced this attack. The totem and the war emblem of the Houma tribe is the crawfish.
Before the war, the first mention of the Houma Indians happened in 1682. French explorer La Salle and her boy Henry de Tonnet noted a Houma village around West Feliciana Parish. He estimated there were 600 to 700 members of the tribe at that time. They did not visit the Houma tribe, they only observed.
The Houma Indians grew melons, pumpkins, beans, and corn.
Get out the way. Get out the way.
Houma Indian women were the farmers who grew these crops. Women also did most of the childcare and cooking. Like many natives, Houma mothers carried their babies in what are called cradle boards. They look like this. They were worn on women's backs. Cradle boards are still used today and are very popular. Men of the Houma tribe hunted and trapped wild turkeys, ducks, and other small game. They also went fishing and shrimping. Watch above as a Houma Indian catches a wild duck.
2 hours later.
My ancestors of the Houma tribe, we hunted with the bow and arrow, the spear, and the blowgun. Our ancestors traveled through the waters and dug out canoes that we made.
Pirogues are long, wooden carved canoes used by many Indians in Louisiana, such as the Houma Indians. The Houma Indians used pirogues, or wooden carved canoes, to travel down or up rivers. Rivers such as the Red and the Mississippi River. They also used these pirogues or canoes as trading transportation devices. Pirogues were around 15 feet long and were very narrow.
The Houma Indians spoke the Muskogean language. Most tribes in South Louisiana used this language because it was very easy to speak. Later, they adopted French and eventually English. Houma Indian children are a lot like children today. They played games with each other, they did chores around the house, and they went to school. They loved to play with palmetto dolls, as shown above. Older boys played some sports like stickball and chunky. Stickball has evolved into what we know as lacrosse. The object of the game was to throw the ball between the goalposts, or hit the goal with the ball, which scored a point. Rules varied from tribe to tribe, but usually you won after scoring 20 points. Chunky was played by rolling a disc-like stone across the ground and tried to throw spears at them and try to place the spear as close to the stone as possible.
River, the Bayou Gula Indians met with Henri Daytonais. They showed him a large red pole. Fish heads and bear bones decorated this pole. The pole marked the hunting boundary between the Bayou Gula Indians and the Houma. The present-day capital of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, is this location now. The red pole, translated into French, is Baton Rouge. Tony met with the Houma, and later, Iberville met with the Houma in search of a letter that they did not have.
In 1774, the Houma Indians sold their land in Ascension and Assumption parishes on the east and west banks of the Mississippi River. The land was sold to French Creoles. After they sold this land, they moved west of the river on their settlements near Bayou Lafourche around Donaldsonville. In the 1790s, most of the Houma Indians left the settlement because it was unsafe. They moved from Assumption Parish and moved south progressively. By 1840, the Houma Indians started to concentrate in present-day Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes. In 1806, because of bad tribal organization in Lafourche and Terrebonne parishes for the Houma, an American agent, John Silby, reported to the U.S. Secretary of State that the Houma were scarcely a nation, and reported only 60 Houma Indians living at that time. But he was wrong. The Houma Indians were very much alive. In 1910, the Houma counted 900 members, and in 1930, a U.S. census counted 936. Now, with around 11,000, the Houma are now the largest tribe in Louisiana. The discovery of oil changed the landscape of southern Louisiana and brought hard times for the Houma. During the early 1900s, because members of the United Houma Nation were not very well educated, they couldn't read leases on land, and a lot were cheated off their land. They could not get jobs because of the language barrier and racial discrimination. Also, the discovery of oil caused coastal erosion and oil field wastes that have contributed negative effects in areas where members of the Houma live today. R.J. and J. Paul from Swamp People are members of the Houma tribe.
In 1985, the United Houma Nation submitted its petition for federal acknowledgement. They were recognized by the Native American Rights Fund. 6 years later, in 1991, the petition got on active consideration. In 1996, the federal government rejected them being federally recognized. There's been no further action. The last 13 years have been timetables that were proposed and canceled, and they are no closer than they were in 1996.
Instead of wooden canoes, Houma Indians today ride in cars.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자
In 1985, the United Homa Nation submitted its petition for federal acknowledgement. 6 years later, in 1991, the petition was on active consideration. The Homa were recognized by Native American Rights Fund. No.
Right now?
Homachi. He laughed.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Than they were in 1996.
No, like on my tie.